All right. And this way, hold on. Maybe not. Oh, there it is. It's like, okay, somebody on Zoom needs to be able to hear me. And I was like, okay, never mind. We're working. We're working. Okay. So obviously today, the point of what we are going to do is we're just going to look at KWB resources. We're going to make sure that you guys have an idea of where to find all the tools and resources available to you, because we know that the value of that is priceless when it comes to determining, obviously real estate comes at different paces for every single one of you. So we want to make sure that you have all the tools you need to succeed whenever that may be. So on KWB resources, and you're welcome to follow along since you've got your laptop, or you can just sit and watch whatever is easiest for you. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the new agent tab. And by clicking on the new agent tab, it will open up to just some like a kind of hub here of some relevant things as a brand new agent. The very first is under this getting started section. If we hit learn more, it's going to take you to a breakdown of the onboarding process, really just reiterating what to expect during that process, who you'll be hearing from, when you'll hear from them. And then also there's some things mentioned at the bottom about things you can do immediately. Obviously, I know you've been onboarded with us before, so we're not going to harp on that section. We'll just take a quick look at the things you can do immediately. So obviously one is going to this website, getting comfortable using it, which we'll do today together. Also looking at the office calendar, which I know you've been able to do as well. Wonderful, and continue to do that because there's so many great trainings and opportunities in this office. Joining Ignite, which I know you are actively taking as well, but that's a great foundational training just to really make sure you know what to do as a realtor, because we always joke that the schools did not quite teach that portion of it. Joining some key Facebook pages, so if you're not already a member, we can make sure that you get added to them. And then also obviously just attending office meetings in general, which you've been great about. So we are in a really good spot in terms of the things to do immediately. And now we can really just take a deeper dive into that new agent section. So I'll go ahead and close out of this. Under the rest of the new agent section, the next little bit here under basic training, if you select learn more in that section there, it will take you to Scott Leroy Marketing's website. Obviously, Scott Leroy Marketing was who created your initial Keller Williams technology setup. But the great news is, if you've not already used them a ton, they are a reliable resource to use moving forward. And you can always reach out to them via email if you ever have any questions about your KW technology, want them to even go in on the back end and take a look at something, they can do that as well. But the couple things I'll point out on this website, just in this for the sake of time, the first page we're going to see here, obviously you can see that wonderful little search bar. So in that search bar, you can search really a multitude of different things by keywords. My favorite to point out is QR code. Scott Leroy Marketing does have a QR code free generator for you. So if you have ever wanted to create a QR code for a print marketing flyer when you're door knocking or anything like that, and you've not yet done that successfully, at least on your own, Scott Leroy Marketing can be your tool and your avenue to get that done. If you search QR code, they'll come up with a quick little form you can fill out. You tell them your key information. And then you can also tell them what website you're trying to link back to with that QR code. And they usually will send that information back to you within the hour. So you can have that information easily handed to you all for free. And then as you get more comfortable, if you find a way to do them yourself, you obviously can do that too. But Scott Roy is happy to help with simple things like that. The other thing that I always point out is the agent resources tab at the top here. It used to just be a drop down menu. Now they are asking us to log in and prove obviously that we're partnered with them before we can access those resources. So when we click on that button at the top, you'll see the section where it asks us to type in our market center number. Our market center number is 350. So if we enter that in, you'll notice that at the top, the agent resources is now a drop down menu. So once we've done that, just obviously there's several different pieces of information here you're welcome to explore. What I'm going to point out today is under training and then training calendar. So if you are looking for some additional technology training opportunities, obviously we do offer them Tuesday and Thursday in this office from 1 to 2 o'clock. But we know that obviously Jules and Leah are rotating their topics. So sometimes if you're really trying to focus on a Facebook ad and maybe they already talked about it a week ago, you missed it, and you just really want to make sure that you have that information before your listing goes live next week, you guys can easily refer back to Scott Leroy Marketing and see if that's something that they may be discussing, because they also offer live trainings from 1 to 2 o'clock, Monday through Friday. So they're talking about all different topics as well. So a good variety is discussed on a regular basis. But all you have to do if you're interested is click right on that specific event. You'll see what their particular topic will be. And then there's a Zoom link included as well. And that way you can participate in their live trainings, just so again, you have opportunity to ask questions and get some additional support with your KW technology. And hopefully too, if anyone has a more complex schedule, it kind of just helps you guys to fill in the gaps at any point. If Tuesday and Thursdays are hard, maybe Monday, Wednesday, Friday is a little bit easier, but it is a way to access some more live tech trainings. And then up towards the top, the other piece that I will share today, obviously you're welcome to look and explore that training calendar a lot more. The other thing I always point out is the store option and the top right corner. Under store, you will see that they do have business cards, name tags. I show this mainly because that seems to be the biggest request I get, or the biggest question people tend to have when they first join the office is, do you guys provide business cards? The unfortunate answer is no, we don't. Hopefully you've actually already got business cards, but if not, Agent Store is always a great option. They do offer several different templates just for Keller Williams that you can choose from. So if creativity may not be your strong suit, you can easily just plug in your information to a template that already exists. And then you can order as well through this site for a very great price. I think for me personally, I got 500 for $35. It was a couple years ago, but definitely a competitive price point to keep in mind, especially if you're looking for just a quick and easy answer to get that business card. Name tags also can be found here. They do offer several other different things, like I saw tablecloths and things like that. You can do so much through this site. Those are the two biggest typically for our newer agents. And then the biggest thing to also point out is for anybody who has not yet ordered their business cards and is a provisional broker, you will need to obviously to consult with Tasha Viney to get approval on your business card design, just to make sure it's in compliance. Our biggest thing is we do not want anyone to go to real estate jail and or to pay for something they cannot use. That's the worst feeling in the world. So with that in mind, if you are broker status and you've got your business cards, you guys tend to have a little bit more freedom in what you can do with marketing, in which case you are welcome to still consult with Tasha if you've ever got questions about what your particular marketing piece should look like, your business card, anything like that. But we will have some advertising guidelines as well that we'll take a look at that can assist you in kind of giving a better feel for what you can and cannot do with your advertising. So I will close out of our agent store tab. And of course, at any point in time, especially since I think for right now, it's still just me and you. If you have any questions, just shout them out. So we've looked at those two first pieces on our new agent tab. Underneath that, there is that quick list of Facebook pages that I recommend joining. The top Facebook page is going to be our private Facebook group of just our agents and our leadership team. So in there, you guys are able to converse with each other, ask questions. I see commonly when people are looking for an open house host, or maybe they're just advertising and marketing the open house, a broker open, anything like that. I see people offering showing assistance through that Facebook page. Even if you are partnering or looking for a referral agent to partner with and you just don't know anybody in a particular area for your clients, what you can do is you can ask, hey, has anyone ever worked with an agent based out of Buffalo, New York? And anybody that is has someone that they've worked with before that they had a super good experience with, they will immediately screenshot that contact and like drop it in the comments section of your Facebook post. So it makes it really, really easy for you guys to get great information, because you'll hear all the time, obviously, that we're a very collaborative office, but that I think is a great example of just how far that goes. So if you ask questions, people are there to help. Obviously, you'll know when that question is maybe better fielded towards a leadership member versus another agent, but our agents are obviously always supporting each other in addition. So know that that is something that's commonly happening on that Facebook group. In addition, I am on there every single day talking about the upcoming trainings and events we've got going on. So that's a really easy way for you guys to get connected to what's happening in the office. I tell you a little bit about the event. I include the flyer and the registration link. So just by scrolling Facebook, you can stay up to date on what's happening in the Market Center. Below that is another private Facebook group. It is also going to be our agents and our leadership team, but this will actually encompass our vendor partners as well. So at KW Ballantyne, we do have a strategic vendor program. These vendors have actually pay to be part of this office and have a partnership with us. As part of that, they actually got to know who we are and get to be part of this program because another Keller Williams Ballantyne agent is who referred them. So these are all vendors that have worked with our agents before and and our agents have nothing but great things to say. So we want you to know that we have a slew of vendor partners that you are welcome to reach out to help out not only you, but your clients as well. They are here to assist you in any way they can. And there's a really easy way to get connected with them just through that Facebook group. All of them should be part of that page. And then you are able to see, because they're posting on there all the time about the upcoming promotions that they're doing, any special new services they're offering, anything of that magnitude will be included on that page. And then as well, just because it's Facebook, if you really wanted to and you were struggling to locate plumbers, you could use the little magnifying search option in the top right corner and you could search plumber, and any plumbers in the program will immediately populate. Sometimes it makes it easier to scoop multiple quotes for your clients to present to them so that they can make their decision accordingly. So know that that is another Facebook group we always encourage people to join, just so you can get connected with some of those vendors. I know several agents obviously have vendors they know and love, and that's wonderful. You don't have to use the vendors in our program, but if you're ever not sure of a connection in that industry, there's some great suggestions of who to reach out to start. Underneath that are two other Facebook pages that you're welcome to join. Again, I would say that these are less attributed just to this office, but the first is going to be the Charlotte Area Realtor Network, obviously connecting you with all the realtors in Charlotte. And then the KW Carolinas region Facebook will allow you to connect with other Keller Williams agents in North and South Carolina. So sometimes people will prefer to do referrals strictly with other Keller Williams agents. It's another way for you to know that you're connecting with somebody who has kind of the same training and background that you do and you can trust to do a great job. So the KW Carolinas region Facebook will allow you to connect with them. You'll also see them sharing about some of the upcoming events that they are offering, which you are welcome to attend. I think usually for the region there is a price associated with purchasing your ticket, but you are able to attend those, whether it's right here in Charlotte or all the way out in Wilmington. You are absolutely welcome to be part of those events. A little bit further down here, we do come across Kellerisms. I will not click on that today just for the sake of time. But if you open it up, it's another PDF handout that really just breaks down the terminology used in the Keller Williams offices. So obviously most of us are familiar with what capping means, but if you are hearing some other terms, like you hear someone say a 411, you're like, what the heck is that? Because it's not really easily inferred from that title. The Kellerisms will break down all of those funky terms and turn them into real world terminology. So it's one step easier for you to decipher what people were referring to. Obviously, you are welcome to ask any staff member and even agents in the hallway what those words refer to, but sometimes you can be a little bit shy, which you don't need to, but I get it. And there's also the piece as well where maybe you're coming across this term for the first time at 9 o'clock at night, in which case Kellerisms is here to help you on demand. And just below that, kind of in a way tangential to on demand, when you were referring to your KW technology, we did talk about this as well, I believe, but when referring to your KW technology, we know that that can be a learning curve for many of us just because it's exclusively run by Keller Williams. So whether you were if you were not with a KW office prior, you probably don't have much familiarity with those platforms, and that's okay. So when it comes to navigating that technology, obviously, in addition to the trainings offered in this office and the trainings offered by Scott Leroy Marketing, if you were ever looking for solutions, whether you were troubleshooting something or looking to learn something for the first time, answers.kw.com by clicking this button. That's going to be a great resource for you because it is a website dedicated strictly to frequently asked questions about Command and similar KW platforms. So that way you guys can search keywords, helpful articles appear automatically that you can read through. They will feature screenshots as well, so there is still a visual attached to it so that you can then replicate whatever that action is on your own screen. But we know that that may not always be the best fit for everybody's learning styles, trying to read through and figure it out. If you preferred more of the hands-on, show me how to do it, there are several avenues, including the live training sessions we talked about, that can help you out there. There is also a sister website to this called ideas.kw.com, and that's really just frequently asked questions about KW, or frequently asked questions, sorry, that's suggestions about KW Command. So as you guys are getting comfortable using the platform, if you notice, hey, I love this feature on this one applet, I would love to see it though on this other applet as well, you can drop in suggestions like that to ideas.kw.com because Labs is constantly tweaking the platform, trying to make updates that make it a efficient and user-friendly tool for you guys. So if there's ever something that stands out to you that you'd like to provide that feedback on, they are here to hear it, and they also would love to implement that same information. So keep that in mind if you ever feel so inclined. They do want to hear from anyone and everyone, whether you are new to real estate, been here for a while, just kind of getting started, or if you came from another firm and have experience with another CRM, they're looking for all of that feedback. Beneath that is an opportunity to download Ignite materials. I know you have those, so I'm not super worried about showing you those today. At the very bottom, we get to see our training calendar. I will say, as part of this experience today, you're going to notice there's multiple ways to get to a lot of the same information on this webpage, because this is probably one of the more convoluted routes because we clicked on a button and then had to scroll a bunch. I'm going to show you a much easier way as part of today. But beneath that, just so you are aware, when referring to scheduling conference rooms, if you've not yet done that, we do have several available. We have focus rooms and we have conference rooms in this office that are free resources for our agents. With the conference rooms, obviously that's more than one person. So we're talking anywhere from 4 to 8 people in that conference room. When referring to the focus rooms, that's going to be more of an independent workspace for you. So if you'd prefer some privacy to do your cold calling in the morning, you can easily do that. But when with the conference rooms, they also are available for you when you are meeting with others. We prefer that it is treated that way, where it is a collaborative effort, whether you're meeting with a coach, a client, another agent. More than one person in the room is the best use of that resource. And just know that while these are obviously on rotation all the time, we do try to make sure that they will stay that way by asking that you guys keep your reservations to about 2 hours or less in the day, just to make sure that others can then use the space if they need to. If obviously you need the room for longer, you're welcome to come talk to me. If you ever have any difficulty booking the room after having clicked the register button, let me know. I am more than happy to help you there as well. The easiest way I'll tell you though, just to get to this information so you don't have to do all that digging, if you do more, there will be schedule a conference room right here in the middle. So that's probably the easiest way. It's going to take you to a website called skeda.com, and Skeda is going to have all of the conference rooms listed at the top, and they're going to specify the capacity for each of those rooms. And then down the side, it's all the times during the day. So everything in between, you're able to just kind of drag and drop your reservation based off of what's already on there and when you need to use the space. But it makes it really easy and clear to know when a space is available versus when it's not. So like I said, I am an admin on the Skeda website. So if you ever have issues booking your reservation, just reach out to me because I can go in and correct anything as necessary. But when we go back to our homepage, obviously we did just do a deep dive at the new agent section. But now we're just going to kind of peruse through the homepage here. You will come across our wonderful leadership team, everyone who is part of that, and then also what roles they offer in this office. And I cannot stand, does it look okay on yours? Does everything look like it's lined up on yours? Okay, cool. Because when I'm doing the adjustments in Wix.com on my monitor, somebody said that to me recently, and I was like, I just don't see it. So I think it's literally based off your monitor size, I'm glad that you said that, because on my computer at my desk, when I'm messing with this, it looks 10 out of 10, perfect, not a single thing out of place. Then I come in here and I look like I'm blind. And then on your screen, it also looks like I might be blind. So I'll have to see if there's a way to fix that. But it does seem to be a little contention on your monitor size, so I apologize. But hopefully this still gives you enough of an idea of who our leadership members are, what our roles are, and how you can reach us, because we are always happy to help you guys with any questions you may have. Beneath that, obviously, we did just see Jules and Leah, who are our tech coordinators. Leah has actually gone ahead and posted some videos that permanently remain on this page, designed to help you guys with getting comfortable with your KW technology. The bottom of the 2 videos was the first one she ever shared here, and that's how you can make sure your command and your DocuSign are linked. So if you've never had a transaction before and you want to make sure that everything's connected properly for that first transaction, you will want to make sure that you input your NERDS number basically into your DocuSign account. If you've not yet done that, that video there is going to make sure you know exactly what to do. And then that way your 2 platforms are communicating pretty seamlessly. Again, it just saves you guys some time and energy, I think, at the end. The second video right above that is a newer video, and that is in regards to how to submit a commission request. So once you guys go under contract on any piece of property with your clients, you will want to submit a commission request so Lynn knows to expect that closing. So that way, as soon as you've got the check in hand, you've closed, you're ready to go, you can drop off the check, you can have it mailed to the office, whatever obviously is your preference. When that check arrives, Lynn will check your opportunity, make sure that Carla, our compliance coordinator, has approved all of your files. If everything's approved and you've already submitted that commission request to Lynn, then she can go ahead and process your payment. So do watch that video if you've never gone through that process before. I recommend it, obviously, for anyone doing it for the first time, but also there have been some recent changes to Command, which is why we even put the video up to begin with. So if you've not yet seen it, I would encourage you to do it, whether it's learning ahead by starting today or this weekend, or waiting until you're a little bit closer in that first transaction. Obviously, the biggest thing is just try your best to always learn in advance, because if nothing else, it saves you guys this additional stress and potential headache when the moment finally comes. We want to make sure you guys are ready to roll. So keep both of those videos in mind. They live here permanently and are always available for your use. Below, you do come across our office training calendar. Obviously, the fastest way to get to that is just by clicking the tab at the top. It'll do all the scrolling for you. That way you don't have to waste all that energy all the way. But when we're looking at our office calendar, I do think that this widget in particular is a little difficult to read. It does tend to chop things off. So my recommendation is always to click here for a full calendar view. When you click on that, it's going to open it up to more of a true Google Calendar look, and you'll be able to see everything that's going on in our office at any given time. You'll have an immediate idea of what to expect the following day. If there's ever anything that you come across on this calendar that's exciting and you want to plug into, all you have to do is click on the event. You can even get more of a description before you make that decision. But if you notice that there's a sign up link at the bottom, that means obviously we prefer that you register so that we know to expect you, especially for events we're bringing lunch. We always want to make sure everyone's fed. So do let us know. Obviously, when looking at the calendar, if you're ever noticing that you've got questions on anything, reach out to me. But as a general rule of thumb, anything that is offered in person and there is a required registration, a link will always be included there, usually to a Sign Up Genius or an Eventbrite. If it is ever a training opportunity that can be attended through Zoom, then all you have to do is click on that and you'll see the Zoom link option appear. And then if it is ever a training that is in person, you don't have to register, just come on in, similar to Ignite. Usually at the very bottom of the description, it will be notated that it is no registration necessary. So hopefully this gives you a good feel for what's happening for the last month of the year. You can even start fast forwarding into January if you'd like to start planning what next year looks like for you and your business. So start looking at this calendar. Please join us for anything and everything on it. As much as that benefits you, we would love to have you at it. So please let us know. Again, let me know specifically if you have any questions as you're looking over this. I'm more than happy to answer. The one quick thing I will mention before we go back to KWB resources, and it's one of my favorite features for convenience. It's actually now in the bottom left corner, but this very, very small blue add to Google Calendar button in the bottom left will allow you to copy our entire live calendar to your personal Google Drive calendar, your KW Google Drive calendar, I should say. And then my favorite thing is obviously now that you can see this is a mixture of not only the KW calendar, but also my personal calendar. It's a little overwhelming. I know, for example, I have a phone call this afternoon. Thankfully, I can see it on here, but otherwise, some stuff can get buried. So while this can be a super helpful thing to have, it can also be a little distracting at times. So if you ever need, it feels a little overwhelming, you can actually turn off the Market Center calendar that you copied, and now you can just look at your own personal. So I do love that feature because, again, it just saves you guys the trouble of having to continuously go back to this other website, find where that calendar exists on it. It makes it so it's right in front of you all the time. And I love the Add Google Calendar feature because I just really like that I can turn it on and off. So when it's helpful, it's there. When it's not, I can take it away. So keep that in mind if it's something that you think would be beneficial. I think it just depends on how much you want to use that feature of Google Suite. But that is going to be our office training calendar, and you can find literally everything offered in here on it. As we scroll a little bit further, we are now just highlighting and referring to some of the recurring meetings you'll see on the calendar. We do have Tech Tuesdays every single Tuesday, as many of us have come to know. We also have team meetings offered from 11 to 12 o'clock on the second and fourth Tuesday. In the month of December, because of when Christmas is falling, I'm going to tell you guys right now, we will have a team meeting held on Tuesday next week. We will not have a second team meeting this month. So our only team meeting for December will be next Tuesday, which will be super fun. We're very excited to prep for the holidays holidays and celebrate with you guys. The other piece, oh, I should say, team meetings, obviously, if you've not sat through one just yet, those are a really good synopsis of really what's going on in the Ballantyne Market Center, what you can expect. We are welcoming agents, we are congratulating new agents, or we are welcoming new agents, congratulating agents on their production. And then we're also really giving a snapshot of upcoming events, market updates. You guys will hear from the tech coordinators, you'll hear from our BIC associate, you'll hear from vendor partners as well. It's a great way for you to get connected with them face to face. So there's tons to offer in the team meetings, and it's just 1 hour long for all of that excitement and energy. And then on the left-hand side, we have our ALC meetings, and those are going to be on the third Tuesday of every month. That's when our Agent Leadership Council is getting together, and they are not only having bigger conversations about Ballantyne and what we would like to see done in the Ballantyne Market Center, what changes we'd like to implement, if any, but they're also kind of masterminding in general about their businesses, where they're at, and what their production's looking like. So the ALC meetings are one that we always encourage your attendance for, just so you can be part of those bigger conversations and hear them. We just ask that if you do attend this meeting, you respect that ALC will hold the floor, so you're more of an observer for that thing, but they are wonderful to be part of. For those of us who may ever miss those meetings because they are in person, if you're curious what decisions may have been made or what the topic of discussion may have been, you can always refer to our ALC meeting minutes. Up at the top under the More tab, there are going to be a Google Drive folder full of those meeting minutes, so you can refer back to them at any point in time. We do arrive after that, looking over Sabra and Tasha's personal information. So if we need their emails, we can get connected with them that way. Obviously, you've been with us for a little bit, so you already are aware Sabra is not physically in the office very often. Tasha, however, is in 3 days a week. So if you are looking to connect with somebody face to face with a quick question, Tasha's door is always open when she is available. She's here 3 days a week to take those questions for you. I think as a general rule of thumb, Tasha can answer just about everything that Sabra can. If there's ever anything that's a little bit out of her wheelhouse, she always will go back and consult with Sabra to get you the correct answer. I will say that while she can handle most everything, we do try to give her more of those administrative, not so urgent conversations. Anytime there's ever anything legally going awry in a transaction that is a hair on fire moment, go directly to Sabra because she'll be the best person to connect with to help you put out that fire. And then underneath that, obviously, again, you're not new to renewing your license, but anybody who may be new to renewing their license moving forward or just wants to check and make sure, like, where am I at with my CE? There's several charts here that you can click on that provide more information on where you can access that list of your credential or your course hours and make sure that you are up to date on everything you need in order to renew successfully by June. Because again, I know we're far away from June for the time being, but June will roll around very quickly, unfortunately. We want to make sure you guys are always ready to go when it comes to renewing your license. When we scroll a little bit further down under Agent Leadership Council, you're going to see the wonderful agents in this office who are currently serving on our ALC. So we're going to have several individuals listed here. Right now, we've got 3 main committees, all with several co-chairs that help to run that committee. But our social and KW Cares committee is focusing on the special events that we're bringing in, like our socials and our trunk or treat events, things like that. They're planning all our parties, so to speak, and they are also our charitable arm when it comes to giving back to our own agents through our local KW Cares fund. Our second committee will be the Career Development Committee, and I believe they're next. Yep, Career Development Committee and DEI. So Career Development's focus predominantly is actually on just bringing in great training opportunities for you guys. So they are meeting with me more than anything, but agents are of course welcome to participate in those conversations. But our ALC for Career Development, they're meeting with me every single month, trying to go over what we have on the calendar, what we'd like to include on it so that we can make sure it is a very full spread in terms of great value shared for our agents. If there's ever a topic specifically that you'd like to hear about that you don't see on the calendar for the foreseeable future, you can absolutely reach out to me via email. I will tell you if it's coming up and you just don't see it yet for some reason. But if there's something that maybe just not on the calendar, we want to hear feedback from you guys. We want suggestions, and we'll work with the ALC to make sure that we're bringing in great speakers on that topic so that you guys are getting a lot of value out of that conversation. And then lastly, we have our growth committee, and our growth committee's focus is going to be predominantly on helping you as an agent to build your profit share. So if you are curious in building your own profit share, helping to grow the market center as part of that process, you can also partner with growth committee. You can go to their meetings. They always are offering agents the opportunity to go speak at Superior. So you can get in front of all these new agents, share more about Keller Williams Ballantyne to those who you impact. They may come to KW Ballantyne or another even KW office, and they may specifically choose you as a sponsor because they felt that you really helped steer them in the right direction in terms of choosing KW. If you are named as a sponsor, obviously that goes into your downline. So that means that you will eventually, hopefully, be receiving passive income through profit share because of that decision. So growth committee is here to help you guys with scripts and really just speaking more to what that looks like and how they can assist you in making that a focal point for your business. A little bit further down, we do come across one of two pillars of mentorship in our office when it comes to your initial start out for your career. The first pillar of mentorship is going to be your coach, your productivity coach and or business coach. They're interchangeable. But your coach is really here to just make sure your business is set up for success, especially in that first year. We want to make sure that you guys are doing all the right things. It's a lot to take on being a business owner and exploring a new industry entirely. So we want to make sure that with the help of your coach, you guys are headed in the right direction. They're going to be speaking not only to business strategy, but they're also going to be making sure that you guys know what it means to be a realtor. Like on top of what you're learning in Ignite, they're going to be meeting with you every single week, speaking about scripts, speaking about lead generation tactics. They're also going to want to go over mindset with you, make sure that you're staying positive and keep your head held high, even if things get a little tough at one point. They're here to really just be your biggest advocate and cheerleader and make sure that you're doing all the right things. They also, of course, want to build a relationship with you specifically. They want to get to know what your goals are, what you're looking to achieve, and really how they can help support you to meet those goals. So lean into your coach. You guys will be assigned them to anybody that's new to real estate. That's going to be a really great fit for you. We also have transaction group partners, and they are going to be your contracts and forms experts. Your transaction partners are meeting every single week as well, and they will be going over either the North Carolina forms or the South Carolina forms, depending on what state you're licensed in. And that will be their entire focal point of the conversation. They're going to bring up specific documents for each week and ask you guys to either pre-review them ahead of the class time and then bring in your questions. But they will be going over how to fill out those documents in that meeting with them so that you guys have all the information you need to succeed. And when you are first meeting with your clients, there's not this additional kind of concern of, oh my gosh, do they initial here or do they initial there? You guys already have a really good feel for how those documents are meant to be filled out. You can do a really great job of conveying their importance and the information to your clients. They know what they're signing. And it really just makes it a much more smooth transaction for you guys when you walk in with that information, because we know those first few transactions are never going to feel like muscle memory yet, and that's okay. They're not supposed to. So your transaction partner is here to make sure that you know everything you need in those first few transactions, and they'll be consistently giving you that information over the course of your first year. The other really cool thing about transaction partners is there's really no set deadline. You can stay in that program for as long as you want. If it's something that you are finding benefit and value from, stay with your transaction partner, because if nothing else, that's just another resource of someone you can ask questions to, especially if you're working a particular deal and something just is a little out of sorts compared to your normal transaction. You guys can consult with your transaction partners because they'll be able to help answer that question. Anything that they cannot answer, they'll refer back to Tasha or back to Sabra. But you do have a great set of transaction partners here, all top producing agents in the office, just like with our coaching program. And at the bottom, we're coming across some helpful resources, some frequently used websites. So there's tons of additional information here as well, all of which is referenced at the top of the page. So for convenience purposes, I'll just take us back up top. But you can find all of those in the More tab for the most part, but you'll find them scattered throughout the site as well. The next thing we'll look at here is FAQs. This one's quick and easy. Really what this is just giving you a general kind of basis for some preliminary questions. If you're ever wondering who to seek for questions about your agent bill, if you just hover over the tile, it tells you who on leadership handles that responsibility. I think we've come to realize that some of our titles do not really translate to much outside of this office. You might not know what an MCA is or what an MCA does, and that's okay, especially as you're getting started. bit or getting more familiar with the staff here. If you have a particular question, hopefully this will help you to kind of gauge who to direct that question to based off of what's offered here. Of course, if your question is differing from what is already available, reach out to me and I will make sure that we get connected with the right person. So it's just the FAQ tab at the top here. Mm-hmm. And then are you cool if I go to the on-demand training tab? Okay, perfect. I was like, I will stay here if we want to go back over it. But under on-demand training, it will be a password protected tab, which is a little bit foreign, I think, so far. So when we're looking at this password, and conveniently for you since you're in person, it is not quite the password to the Wi-Fi. Take off the exclamation point, and then it will be the right password. So for anybody who may be joining online, it is a capital B, lowercase a, M, C, 350, and that will let you write in. Under on-demand training, especially for those of us with slightly more complex schedules, I do love to share this page because I think it gives a lot of versatility with the trainings. On the left-hand side here under on-demand, this will take you to our Keller Williams Ballantyne YouTube channel. So if there's ever a training or a recurring meeting that you are missing out on because you're ill, maybe you've got family traveling and being with you in town, anything like that, if maybe you're just on vacation, you really actually want to stick your toes in the sand and just enjoy. Anytime that is true, excuse me, thank you. Anytime that's true for you, obviously, while we would love to still have you part of that training, we want you to be present in your lives. So in that event, do not feel like that means that you completely miss out. There's going to be tons of information shared here right on this YouTube channel. I will go ahead and mention at the bottom here, you'll see our list of playlists. This is going to tell you what trainings you can find recordings of on this channel. So we usually post the Tech Tuesdays, the Marketing Masterminds. You'll find recordings of this training, of the compliance course, which is how to get paid faster. You'll find team meeting recordings and things of that nature posted right here. We do that because those are obviously things where information's updating constantly. We want to make sure you guys are getting the most up-to-date information on what is being discussed. When it comes to more of the special events that we bring in once a month or maybe every couple months, once a quarter, anything like that, those special events, while yes, they may be available through Zoom, those recordings do not get published here to this site. And the reason for that is because for those special events, we would really love to have you guys participate live, whether you are physically in the office for that training or whether you are participating through Zoom. Either is absolutely fine. But the reason we encourage the live participation is really not to inconvenience you. It's actually more so just so you have the opportunity to ask your questions in real time. I do love a good YouTube video that I can refer back to. But for me personally, there's nothing worse than watching something like that and then feeling like, great, okay, but I've got 3 questions and nobody to ask. So I hope I remember these by the time I get to the office on Monday so I can ask Jules and Leah or whatever, you know. So if that's true for you, it may be helpful, like we always try to push and encourage, for you to participate live where you can get more of that specific one-on-one assistance with questions that you may have and walk away with full clarity on the matter. So know that this YouTube channel exists. Anytime you may miss one of these meetings, you can find this fantastic information here. The other thing I always mention as well is that I am the one who updates this channel. So if at any point in time you guys are looking for a specific recording out of what normally would be offered on here, and you're noticing like, hey, the Tech Tuesday video from last week, it's not on here, but that's what I was looking for. I really wanted to hear what Jules and Leah said about DocuSign. If that's ever true, just reach out to me through email because sometimes YouTube will fight me and tell me that it won't publish my videos because it violates some policy. They usually accuse Jules and Leah of cyberbullying to some effect. And I'm like, well, that's really funny because I've not been told that. But so I even went so far as to try and like go through a representative with YouTube to get them to overturn their decision on that. And they were like, nope, it violates our policy. And I was like, well, that's really interesting. So occasionally, especially with tech videos, might not always get the opportunity to have them published here. So if there's ever a specific video you're looking for, just reach out to me in an email. I usually still have access to the recording and we'll share it with you individually. I just couldn't get it on the public site here. And then on the right-hand side, Command on Demand, this another YouTube channel, but this is actually Scott Leroy Marketing's YouTube channel. So again, just focusing specifically on the technology side of things. There's so much information you guys can learn and glean from what's already been published through Scott Leroy. So you are welcome to refer to their YouTube channel just as much as you may lean into ours for Jules and Leah's trainings. There's going to be specific videos that they're sharing on all these topics as well. Sometimes it can be helpful to get to this channel just because they've got some that are a few minutes long if you're looking for something quick and easy as like a tip. And then there's also full-length trainings that are being uploaded. But as a general rule of thumb, I think pretty much anything you can do with your KW technology, no matter what platform, it will be somewhere on this YouTube channel. So again, just I like to share this because one, there are going to be times when you're looking for specific information and that training just may not be offered immediately on the calendar. And then two, we also understand that there are complicated schedules that come with real estate because it's something you can balance with other life. So in the event that you have a more complex schedule, it really just helps to make sure you guys can access this information at a time that does work for you. But I will close out of their YouTube channel here. Down below, we are going to come across that wonderful video from Leah again about submitting a commission request, obviously still on the home page. And then there's just a little bit of information about Ignite, but since you're participating in it, I will not bore you with the details. And then on the other side here, office resources. Before I click on it, I just want to hover because I do personally feel that those first three menu items are easier to grab this way than if you were inside of the tab already. So the first is advertising guidelines, which we kind of spoke about. So if you're wondering what is okay and what is not okay to have on your print marketing, digital marketing, anything like that, you can refer to the advertising guidelines. Again, provisional brokers, you usually need to be a little bit more cautious and make sure you're staying in compliance. Broker status tends to come with a little bit more freedom. With that in mind, though, obviously you guys still may have questions because there isn't somebody else to check what I'm doing before I post it. In which case we want to make sure you have additional support and reference material. So advertising guidelines will do exactly that. It'll give you an idea of what can and cannot be on that marketing. The other piece as well, when you click on that, you'll be able to access different logo files for Keller Williams Valentine. So there's tons of great information shared just in that piece. Beneath that item, we do have concession requests. So obviously not every transaction goes by the book. Sometimes we need to ask for a concession letter, and in which case that's okay. We do want to make sure that you guys know that that exists. The biggest reason that we made it so that you can fill out basically a Google form and then request this concession letter be drafted. Tasha will get right to work on it and send it right back to you. The reason that it exists this way is because Tasha felt that when you guys would go to her specifically to request them, you might give her like 2 or 3 pieces of information, very helpful, yes, but she might need 4 or 5 more. And it was just this back and forth and back and forth, and she just felt terrible about prolonging getting you this letter. She said, you know what, if I can just ask them all of the questions at face value and they can give me all that information, then I'll be good to go. So that concession request Google form is right there for you guys. Fill out each of those blanks anytime you need a concession request, and Tasha can get right to work on drafting it. Or concession letter, yeah. And then underneath that is the do not call list. 9 times out of 10, I do think real estate school talks about the do not call list. So people tend to know about that before they get into this room. But obviously, it's of the utmost importance that you guys know there are people who do not want you to call them. In which case, it's very important you know who they are so that you don't call them, because not only would you then potentially piss them off, you're also subject to thousands in fines on occasion, and you can face court time as well. So that's kind of a double whammy. We certainly don't want anyone to get in trouble over something like that, especially with that magnitude. I mean, that's no fun for anybody. So please do follow the step-by-step instructions by clicking on that button for the do not call list. We will explain exactly how to go about registering to access that information. Be aware of who it is okay to call and who it is not, so you never fall into that category of somebody who accidentally called the wrong person. But now that we've talked about those 3 menu items, I will take us into that tab. And we just click on Office Resources, and then we're going to type in the exact same password that we just used. So it's a capital B, lowercase a, M, C, 350. And then this tab will open up for us here. When we're looking at the Office Resources tab, a couple things to note. The first is General Forms. I know you're North Carolina licensed, so we'll look here. So General Forms, if we click the Get Forms option, This is going to take us into a Google Drive folder that Sabra created, and she pretty much just put together a bunch of firm-specific documents that she felt she was regularly asked for. So if you are looking for something specific about Keller Williams, whether it is working with real estate agents, maybe our office W-9s because you're expecting a referral agreement in general, disclosures about our business relations and partnerships with title companies, things like that, all of that information can be found right here. I do always tell you guys, this is not going to be every document that you're responsible for handling during a transaction. Your state contracts and forms do not exist in this folder. Your state contracts and forms can be found through your DocuSign, or they can be found through Zip Forms, which is a feature offered through Matrix with Canopy. So you have two avenues to get the state contracts and forms depending on what your preference is. And then for firm specific conversations and documents, this is where you can find all of them located. So I do always say if you are ever looking for something specific and you start in one location, whether it's the Google Drive folder or your DocuSign, if you're missing any piece of information that you were looking for in that, you can then refer back to the other source. So if I start in DocuSign and it's not there, I'm going to check Google Drive. If I start in Google Drive, it's not there, I'm going to go back to DocuSign. Between the two resources, you should have access to every document that you should possibly need for any transaction. So that is going to be very helpful for you. You're welcome to even explore what a lot of that looks like. Under office check, and if you become South Carolina licensed at any point in time, the South Carolina equivalent of those forms is going to be just here on the right side. So I won't click on it though because that seems pretty straightforward. The middle section here though is get checklist. If you select get checklist, you will see that there are going to be lists here that Sabre has actually walked you guys through the transaction. Basically, we know that not everything's muscle memory if we've not yet done it before, and she wanted to make sure that she kind of took away some of that anxiety going into it so that you guys felt confident and really comfortable going into your first deal. So no matter what state you're licensed in, North or South Carolina, no matter what side you're representing in the transaction, there are checklists that have been published to this site specifically for your reference. So that way you can make sure you have done every responsibility and task you are to handle as part of the transaction. You can also reference if there's any timeline associated with that action. And then you can sit there if you prefer, like me, I love to check off like a to-do list. If you then want to check off physically any of these so you know all my ducks are in a row and I can close this safely, you can go through and actually check off everything as well. So again, not everyone may prefer to utilize this resource, and that's okay. It's kind of why we like to show you this wonderful culmination so you can pick and choose what you think would be the most helpful to you in your business. But if this is something that you feel like would help you to succeed, we want you to have it. So know that our office checklist exists right here on KWB Resources under the Office Resources tab. Underneath that, we do have access to the CE Shop. The CE Shop, of course, is a real estate education source, and they do a lot of self-paced learning that's done online. We do have a partnership with the CE Shop, which is wonderful because it actually allows you guys to have access to a discount code through their website. So if you hit find classes, this will take us to the dual branded website that we have. And you will be able to see here a lot of the different states that they offer education for, depending on the style of education, if it's just exam prep. There's tons of great info that you can access through the CE Shop and even continue on with your real estate credentials. When we are looking at this top header piece, though, you'll see that free trial button right there in the middle. If you guys are dabbling with the idea of self-paced learning, you've not yet tried it out and you know it's either a hit or miss because that is really what I hear. Either people love it or they hate it. So if you are a little anxious or apprehensive to try and start that process and check out self-paced out of concern that maybe it's not going to be a good fit for you, but sometimes it's hard to make time weekly to do the superior classes, which we understand. So if that speaks a little bit more to you and you're interested in what self-paced would do for you, you can actually try out a free trial. It's 1 week long, and you can check out what self-paced is and how it would work for you as a learner. If you love it, at the end of that 1 week, you can then give them your credit card information, purchase the remainder of the course, and stay true to that. If you absolutely hated it, you don't ever want to see that score again, it was miserable, you can walk away from it with absolutely no consequence. So it just gives you a chance to explore it. Some people in your world may be interested about trying out the same thing. So if that's ever true, you can give them access to the free trial as well. We're happy to share that so people can get a feel for what they're working through. The other piece as well with that, of course, if you're South Carolina, if you're going to get South Carolina license, that's usually my recommendation is check it out. If you hate it, great. Go move on, do something better. If you love it, then commit to it because CE Shop does offer great discounts. And you can see here some of the packages that they offer. If you continue to scroll, you can see what the original price point would be and then what it's reduced to just with that discount code. And then what I will tell you as well, they clearly offer monthly payment plans. That's new. The other thing I always mention too is that CE Shop, their discounts actually fluctuate. It's not one standard discount across the board. They do a lot of flash sales for 1 day or 2 days only. So when those come up, I am notified from Barbara Wilkinson. She's the representative I work with through CE Shop. So anytime there's a flash sale coming up, she will notify me ahead of time so that I have the information. I post it to Facebook at 8 o'clock in the morning the day it goes live. And that way you guys can see that information and take advantage of the deals as they are relevant. I know, for example, if you are in need of any education at all, they'll do a 40% off on Monday and Tuesday next week. So that will come up. You'll want to grab the code off of our Facebook page, but it should be pretty easy. If you need any additional information with that or can't find it, just reach out to me. But that is one that you are absolutely welcome to enjoy for yourselves, whether it's post licensing, continuing education. Maybe you just want to get licensed for the first time in another state, but no reciprocity option because of how far away it is. You can do that as well. The other really cool thing is you can share this with anybody. It can be a friend of yours, it can be a cousin, it can be somebody that you've met walking down the street if you'd really like. But make their day and give them the opportunity to get into real estate for a discounted rate because there is no obligation for the person receiving that information to join Keller Williams Ballantine. It's simply just an opportunity for you guys to help make them smile, help start their journey in real estate and impact their lives. And then also, if you are really focused on your profit share and growth of your downline, it's kind of a tool in a way. You can offer that to somebody to kind of start that conversation about real estate and KW Ballantine. So there's plenty that you can do by taking advantage of those real estate discount codes. The last thing I'm going to show you, if we scroll all the way to the bottom, it used to be up top. So now I really do look psychotic when I go for this information because it's so small. But under Agent Essentials, there's a little teeny tiny thing that says Hot Topics. You click on that, it's going to take you to basically a library of ebooks, podcasts, blogs, videos, all of that great content surrounding the real estate world. Whether it's something meant for a consumer to read, meant for an agent, there's tons shared here, whether it is informational or lighthearted. It's a great space for you. Not only is it something, of course, you can benefit from, but my favorite reason to talk about this is I know right now social media marketing is huge. That's a very popular tool because it's free most of the time. It's really easy because you're already in it and there's like this untapped market. It's unlimited who you could reach through that. With that in mind, I am not Jules and Leah, so I don't know everything, but I do know two things. And one is that there is a lot of importance and value in making sure that you are frequently posting to your page. You need to stay in front of people as often as possible, whether that's daily, every other day. Jules and Leah are going to be your better recommendation for how frequent, but you should be posting all the time. The other really big piece is that you should be diversifying what you're posting. It shouldn't be the same old, because eventually the algorithms will say, okay, nobody wants to see that. Nobody wanted to see it last week. They don't want to see it this week, and they'll just cut it out. They don't want people to necessarily pick up on stuff that others didn't react to help you guys kind of balance this. I need to post a lot and I need to have something different all the time. That's a lot. And I know that it can be really challenging to generate original content in a timely manner over and over again. So if that is not your strength, lean into the resource through CE Shop through the hot topic section, copy and paste the link to one of these articles and drop that as a Facebook post one day. It just kind of helps you guys hit the easy button of, yes, I posted, awesome. I didn't have to think of anything because it's, 6 o'clock in the morning. I got too much to do today. You can just throw it up on your page and then hopefully it will incite new traffic because it's something that hasn't been posted before. So keep that in mind. Again, it's a tool for you guys to continue to grow your own skills as an agent, but also to share with the consumers and future clients. So I'm going to close out now. We're just going to head back to our website. As we scroll further on the page, KW Ballantine floor plan, I I don't think you'll ever reference that, but it's there. I just want you to know. Underneath that, though, we do have some numbers to know. These are going to be less commonly used. So really, we're talking about let's see. So if you are going to go get your South Carolina license, and maybe you have not already yet done that process, but yay, I just passed everything. I just need to fill out this form because South Carolina's backwards, and they want me to fill this out before I can get the license. They will ask you on that form to give us your firm license number for this firm for South Carolina. You're not going to know that, I wouldn't think, off the top of your brain. That's where you can find a number like that. You might not be asked for it as commonly, but it's still an important number to have access to for when you are asked for it. My other favorite to point out here is our federal tax ID. When you guys are doing referrals, you're going to want that information. So keep this in your back pocket. You don't have to have all of this memorized. You don't have to necessarily have it saved elsewhere on your phones or your devices. But know that if you ever need to consult and find these numbers, that all of them exist under our Office Resources tab. We even have our Market Center number over on the left-hand side under Ballantyne area. So if you were ever asked for that and you didn't have that information handy, you can reference it there. So keep that in mind. Like I said, it's going to be helpful. Maybe not as frequently, but it is going to be helpful in those moments. I do know, though, sometimes it's hard a month from now if you are officially ready to get that application signed for your South Carolina license to remember where we saw this information. In which case, just email me or call me, stop by my office. I am more than happy to direct you back to the site or just pull the information to help you out because, again, it's just a little less common that you're going to be using it. So if you don't remember where to find it, I never get offended. Just to show you, if we click Office Calendar, and I'm not going to do any work here, it's going to bring me right where I want to go. Now I can just click for full calendar view to see it a little bit easier, but that's why I like to share that a little bit further into things. Tech resources, most of these we've actually already talked about. There's just a hub centrally just for tech resources all in one drop down menu here, so you can pull some of the stuff we've already looked at just from this drop down menu in a more convenient way. Under the More tab, though, some of the things that we've talked about already, I won't go as far into detail on. Obviously, we talked about where you can find our ALC meeting minutes in a Google Drive folder. We also have a prayer request form underneath that. I will say that's more of a talking piece than anything for me. And that's just to reiterate that as a agent in this office, we very sincerely consider you part of our family. So if there is ever anything going on in your life or the life of one of your loved ones, just let us know because we of course want to make sure that as family, we are here to help support you through that, whatever that may look like. Whether it's literally just checking in and saying, hey, how's it going? If it's giving you a hug when we see you in the hallway, anything like that, we are more than happy. And if you're a big fan and believer in the power of prayer, we will make sure that we are telling, if it stays with just the leadership team, we will pray on your behalf. If you'd like to see that and really drive up the prayer power, we will announce it to the Market Center if you ask us to. So just let us know what's going on so we can do our part to best support you like any family would. And then underneath our prayer request form, we do have KW perks. That is going to actually be in regards to insurance. So if you are new to independent contracting or maybe just on the hunt for a better insurance plan, this is where you guys can go search the insurance marketplace essentially, plug in a little bit of your information, see all of the options available to you, and find something that's going to work well for you. I think as of 2 years ago, roughly, Keller Williams partnered with initially Capstone Financial. I think they're with Kaplan now, but they have partnered to try and get you guys a discounted rate on that insurance so that it's not as expensive because it's not expensive. It's not inexpensive when you're getting it through your employer, but it feels a lot more expensive when you're not. So know that that is an option. Again, if insurance has ever been on your brain, if you don't have it or you're looking for a better option, it cannot hurt to look and see what's available through KW Perks. It may not be the best fit for you, but it is going to give you so many options to review that I'm sure you'll find something that's going to be a good fit. We talked about how to schedule a conference room. KWB firm exclusive listings. I do think at some point this will be kind of obsolete, to be quite honest. This particular sheet, the concept will stay, but I think the sheet may become obsolete. Command, as I understand it, is intended to continue to update over time, and eventually this will all be a part of Command. But in this office, you'll notice that several agents will actually take listings, and they only want to work with another KW Ballantyne agent. So they keep that listing specifically with the firm. They do not put it on Canopy MLS. They do not market it otherwise. They are just asking other agents in this office, hey, do you guys have a buyer that's interested in this property? The reason I share this with you is obviously that gives you a few more properties to look at when trying to help out your buyers. And also we know that sometimes hey, my buyers are looking for something that really doesn't exist in MLS. So is there something I'm missing? Is there something else out there that may be a better fit for them? In which case, reference that KWB firm exclusive listing sheet because it is a live document. And as people submit documentation to Sabra saying, hey, I'm going to take this listing, but it's going to be firm exclusive, Sabra uploads that property information into the sheet so that you guys can refer to it, get a little bit more info on the property. And if you're interested in it, you can then contact the listing agent for more details, and you can also contact them to see if you can schedule a showing. So tons of ways that you guys can access actually a bit more than even Canopy MLS is offering. So stay aware of the firm exclusive listings, especially if you kind of run into that like, oh my gosh, there's no property for my client that matches what they're looking for. Always refer back to the firm exclusive listings. Underneath that, we do have our strategic vendor partner spreadsheet. If we click on that particular piece, which I will show you, this is going to overview everybody in our vendor program. So if you're not a Facebook user or, oh my gosh, I totally forgot to join that page, that's okay. You can still access all of our vendor partners information by visiting the sheet, again, a live document. You guys will be able to see who is in our vendor program, the company they work for, the specific contact, their information, what their services are, and then also if they have a website, you can view that info as well. But you'll see as you scroll through that all of this is organized by industry. So it makes it really easy for you to pull a multitude of quotes to present to your client so that they can pick which would be the best for them. But that way you have a really, really good idea of just who you can partner with to help out your clients. Again, as this is a live document, you'll see that any additions made to the program will be noted right here on the document. But you will see, for example, under electrician, we've only got one gentleman right now. That is not because we hate electricians, I swear. If you guys actually notice anything like that, where there's just one or two vendors, if you know somebody that you worked with before, or maybe just a good friend of yours or family friend, anything like that, someone that's wowed you, let us know because not only is that something that our agents and you can benefit from is having them part of our vendor program. But also, that's a really great way for them to get in front of 570 agents. Like, immediately, we will share the roster with them so that they can access all of that information and stay in touch with our agents. They get opportunities to come and speak with you guys as well. So that way it helps spread the word and market their business simultaneously. So it really is a win-win. If you have someone that stands out to you as somebody you'd like to refer to the vendor program, it's a really, really simple connection. All you have to do is connect them with Angela Bueno. She oversees our vendor program. She actually has business cards right at the front desk, so really, really easy to grab one on your way out. But talk to your friends, see if they have interest in making the connection with Angela, put them all together on an email, and then Angela does all the legwork for you. You don't have to give them the boring details of like what the vendor program is, what they get out of it. You can just say, hey, here's an opportunity. Would you be interested? Can I make that connection? Then Angela can step in, do all that legwork, explain all the details, and give them pieces papers to review as well. If they're still interested in the program at that point in time and they'd like to commit, they can go ahead and send over payment information. Lynn will process and I'll email them welcome aboard. And then if not, then no worries. They at least know that that opportunity exists if it ever makes sense for them moving forward. But again, it is a win-win, and obviously at KW we're always about win-wins. So I'm gonna close out, come back. The only other couple things I mentioned in this, Outfront Magazine, very similar to our hot topics. I won't click on it, but if you are struggling with content for social media and we just need an easy button for the day, Outfront Magazine publishes a calendar overview every single month of like, here's a post you can make for every single day of the month. So they give you an idea. I always tell you guys, I've never actually personally, because I'm not an agent, I don't click on Outfront Magazine very often. So I can't tell you if it's like a copy and paste the script or if it's a, hey, talk about the weather or something like that. But at least it will give you an idea of what you may want to discuss on social. So it's really just a way, again, to make that a little bit simpler because you guys have plenty that you juggle. And if there's any ways that we can make your life easier, we are happy to do it. Beneath that is discount codes for real estate education. I'm only clicking on that because not only do we have partnership with the CE shop, which we talked about, we also partner with Superior. So if the self-paced learning really is not a great fit for you, you'd much prefer the live training, whether online or in person, it's the discount codes for real estate education under that same drop down. If you guys are curious to enroll in a class that's live with an actual instructor, Superior obviously offers that both in person and Zoom. Superior and through our partnership with them, we have a 30% off discount across the board. And that will never change. So it's 30% off across the board. You don't have to worry about like, oh crap, it's only 20% today. Like CE Shop will fluctuate, which sometimes it can be really big, but sometimes it may come in a little under what you were hoping for. With this superior discount code, the reason you see it 3 times is each of these codes ties to a different website. The first on the left there being the pre-licensing, middle being post, and then end being CE education. So if you guys are looking for a particular class, just make sure you click on the right access code button to get access to that particular course load so you can see when those classes are running and take advantage of the discount. But that's really everything I talk about under the More tab. The last thing I know you've actually already probably seen and done is the I need tech help button. So if you need to book time with Jules and Leah for a one-on-one appointment, just 30 minutes of time where you can talk about anything really relative to KW technology or marketing in general, relative to you and your business. You can find their availability. Great. 1 o'clock on December 10th works wonderful. Tell them who you are. I want to meet in person, face to face, or actually, I'm going to be traveling. Can I meet with you through Zoom? And then you can tell them everything you want to talk about in that appointment so that they can prepare immediately and make sure that as soon as you guys sit down together, rubber is meeting the road and you guys are not wasting any time trying to pull documents. Oh, okay, well, hold on. If you want to talk about that, let me go get that. So, this is going to be a great opportunity for you guys not only to build relationships with Jules and Leah, but to get hands on assistance with a lot of your KW technology. So they are here to make sure that you are going from basic education with KW technology to like, yeah, I'm doing a lot of it myself. They're going to show you so many ways that you guys can leverage through command. So I don't have to hire anybody. I don't have to pay anything extra. I can just leverage in command itself. I can have email campaigns that are going out without my actual hand in it. I can just draft them and have them set up as a smart plan so that they're dripping into others' inboxes. There's tons that you can do with the resources you've been given, and Jules and Leah will show you all of those cool tricks through both their classes and any one-on-one appointments you guys schedule. But that really covers KWB resources as far as I usually go with it today. So hopefully this was very helpful. If you do have any questions, though, I'll take them now. If you have an extra minute or two, I was going to show you really quickly how to do an email blast, but you already know how to do an email blast in the internet. Okay, I will show you how to do that. I was gonna say, I was like, if that's gonna, again, I'm respecting your time. I was like, if you already seen it, go enjoy your weekend. But do you have any questions? Because technically the email blast is a separate website, so I don't want to walk away from this one if you have questions here. Oh, so if you go to the Office Resources tab, and then it's going to probably ask me to type in the password. Oh, look at that. It should just be down here, and you should be able to click the button. I might have turned the button off because I think, yep, it's the old Office. You're like, wait a minute, there's no bend in this office. Yeah, I have not yet gotten the blueprints to the new office to change that out, but I will ask for them. So in case you want to know what our old office used to look like, there you go. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, you're okay. Okay. Do you know what do you know what conference room? Okay, I was gonna say, I was like, because our 4-person conference rooms, there's 2 of them. They're like, if you think of the lobby basically as a mirror, the left side and the right side of the office are almost identical. This side has obviously the training room and the hub. The other side, this would be the attorney's office. So that's the only real difference. When it comes to like the back half, though, with the offices and the conference rooms, it's almost a mirror image. So when you first walk in the lobby, the 2 8-person conference rooms are literally in that main hallway as soon as you walk through the entryway. And then if I'm walking down the hallway to the right, there's the 6-person office is also right in that main hallway. And then both of our 4-persons are a little bit further back. They're on the very, very back wall. So you'll see those as well. So depending on which one you have, hopefully you'll see it. If not, always stop in with Sue because she'll show you exactly where the conference room is. Yeah, I was gonna say she's wonderful. She will take care of you. Make sure you know where you're going. So that is helpful, and I will try to make sure that that gets updated because it's like, well, it's so funny because like I said, I never really click on it, so I'm like, I but this helps. This helps me because now I remember and I'll make sure I go change that out. So yes, this is going to be all the great content on KWB. Any other questions other than that one? Okay. All right. So I'm going to show you one last thing. And that's how to send an email blast through the intranet because I love giving you guys ways that you can do minimal effort and maximum results. So when you go to send this email blast, you're going to want to go to mykw.kw.com. It's immediately going to ask you to log in unless you're already logged into command somewhere on your computer. And when that login comes up, you are going to use the login credentials we created. So, or at least when you first join. So it's going to be your username and password that you use when you're logging into command. Just had to change mine. So let me see if I can remember. Yay. Oh, good. Okay, awesome. Mary was actually, I ran into her in the hallway and she was mentioning, oh, whatever. She was mentioning that she had shared that with you guys. She was like, yeah, a couple people were like, oh, what's the internet? And I said, oh, how funny, Mary. Did you happen to know I'll be talking about that later? Okay. I'm going to have to do this again because my page expired. So this is actually, okay. That is a pain in the butt. No, it's not quite the old command. This was just a separate site offered through KW that had different features to it in a way. One thing, so I'll because it's just me and you, I'll point out a couple things real quick. So if you're ever looking for reports, like, hey, I know I've had a few people who've joined the office that should have named me as a sponsor or joined any KW and they should have named me. Who's in my downline? If you want to, you can go to the report section right by your profile image at the top. And this is also like if I want to know if you wanted to know how you are ranking in the market center amongst other agents, you can pull that information here too. So that way, and then under reports, you'll have access to tons of different categories and you'll see different options with that. So like rankings is one I always go in to recognize anybody who did $1 million the previous month. But so when I go rankings, sorry, I go rankings and then I go rankings within market center. Oh no. Okay, sorry, but I go rankings and then rankings within Market Center. If you're looking for like profit share specifically, you can go profit and grow share, and then you can see my 7 level downline. So then you can pull up anybody that named you. Yep, exactly. You can see exactly because the thing is, if somebody names you and then they go on to build their downline, that's great. That's what you want. But you might not know, hey, my buddy Sam Smith who named me, Sam Smith just got named as somebody else's sponsor. You're not going to necessarily see all of that. So that's a really good way for you to have a good scope of what your 7 levels look like and who's built up their profit share in addition to yours. So that would be where you can find lots of reports. I say that because that is a helpful piece where you can find it. I get asked about that a lot. The other thing I will point out is white pages down here in the bottom right. I know it's tiny, but if you click on white pages, this is an internal search engine for just Keller Williams. So if you wanted to find a referral partner, there's a couple ways you can do this. If you wanted to find a referral partner out in Buffalo, like we said earlier, and you don't know anybody, but you know you want to work with a KW agent, you can actually search like market center information. You can just search Buffalo, New York. Anybody that's based out of Buffalo, New York, like the market center itself, you can click on it. You can view all the agents in that Buffalo office and you can pull somebody's info, reach out to them, ask them if they'd be interested in working with your clients. That's pretty cool. If you know of an agent already, but you don't have their contact information, you can do the associate search. You can type their first and last name in there. And again, this is for all of Keller Williams. So if you search somebody's information, hit search, their info will populate. Let me see if I can do Sue, for example. I will say it's very sensitive to spelling. So you want to make sure you know how to spell their first and last name in order to get this to pull up correctly. Oh, see, look, she's probably in as Susan. So my bad. I'm not going to show you Sue, but you get the idea. Obviously, you can tell I didn't spell things right. So that is where you can find a ton of that information. What I was going to show you today is the intranet is going to be same in this little box down here, but this is the bottom left. So if you click on Market Center Intranet, it's going to take you to like a little library of just really any posts that have ever been done. These are going to be the most recent, obviously the top here. But these are things that honestly you're probably getting as an email blast already, and you may have seen them come that way through your email. This is where you can find the original posts. So when we have sometimes we get scam texts that go around. We want to make sure you guys know about that. So we usually put them pinned to the top. We'll make announcements about that. You'll see that some people are looking for open house hosts and stuff. And so they're sharing those as email blasts for you guys to reach out to them in connection. But if you are looking to make your own post, all you have to do, so you can hit add post. Then you can specify this one will be grayed out for you. That's usually the one I use. So you'll want to do associate post. You can then designate a channel. It's really just to kind of classify what your announcement is about. It doesn't have to, it doesn't change the visibility of your announcement at all unless somebody was filtering just for that channel. Agent announcement is going to be the most general, but obviously if it's related to an open house, you might click that option. But if I do just agent announcement, it'll let me go ahead. I can create a post title up to 99 characters. So I can type. It actually might be 100 characters. I get 100 characters though. I can type whatever my post title is. That will come through as the subject line of this email. So when I receive this email in my inbox, that's going to be my subject line from you. Underneath that, you'll see there's an option to connect it to a website. You can include a URL to something if necessary. You can even upload PDFs or JPEG files to go with the post. I think you can do up to 12. So you'll want to, I think it has to be just PDFs or just JPEGs, not both. So you'll want to look at that. But I believe you can do up to 12 different files there. And then you can create a quick post blurb. I hate the post blurb because it's only 190 characters, which is tough. But the beautiful thing about it is that you have the option to add a full message. So if you click that little red option just below, you can type freely as much as you need to. So if 190 characters is not enough, which it never is for me, I always type my little blurb in here, a couple sentences, because that will be the actual body of the email. So when you send me an email because you made a post, the post title up at the top, that's what I see as the subject line. When I open up your email, this little box here is what I see as the subject or the body of that email. But if you needed to use this extra space to type more information, there will be a little button for me to click in that email that says view full post. So if I click on that, it allows me to then see everything else that you shared in that section. I don't personally, my best recommendation for you, if you do need to use that big open-ended section, when you type up your post blurb, make sure you save like just enough characters to say like see full post. And that way anybody who reads it, if they're interested and they want more information, they know there is more. I would never want somebody to see your email and be like, okay, cool. He's shared like one sentence. That's awesome. And then miss out on like the content that you gave. So always try if you can make some kind of comment about like there's a full post attached to this so that people who are interested can learn more. But that really kind of designates everything that you'll fill out here. Once you're done, all you have to do is hit publish post and it sends to everybody in the distribution list, which is all 570 of our agents and the leadership team. So we'll all get a copy of it within this office. It takes a few minutes sometimes for it to trickle all the places, but I will say the hardest part about this for you guys is when you go to do this for the first time, you don't get a copy of your own email to see it. So you won't necessarily, other than just clicking the button, you won't necessarily know for sure that it's gone through. It should tell you like, hey, it's being sent to a bunch of people. But I know sometimes that still can be, oh, is it? What I always tell you guys is just shoot me an email and say, hey, I just did my first email blast. Can you look and see if it comes through? And I'll let you know as soon as I see it. And that way you know it's made its way to everybody. So that really would be the best recommendation. Again, I like Facebook. I really do. I think it's a great communication tool. But if not enough people are liking your stuff or commenting on it, it can fall really quickly down. And sometimes people won't see it because, oh, I didn't scroll that far. This is a really good way to make sure that the information you're trying to share stays in front of people, unless they choose to delete your email and that's their choice. But like it's at least getting to everybody, especially because, some people are not Facebook users and things like that. So that's the best way to go about making that post through the internet. And like I said, it's really minimum on the effort or minimal on the effort and really big results. So you can use this really anytime if you're looking to offer showing assistance over the holidays. If you are looking to host an open house for somebody, you can post stuff like that too. Obviously, it can also go on the Facebook page. Sometimes more casual posts are easier for the Facebook page, but like I've seen people before where their sellers are like, nope, can't, I'm not taking this washer dryer. It's free. Just get it out of my house. So people will say, hey, I've got a washer dryer set. Here's the photo of it. Let me know if you have an interested client or you know of somebody. And then you can reach right out to the agent because they usually put their phone number in the email and you can just reach right out, say, hey, I want them. I'll come get them. And that's really all it is. So makes it pretty easy, but that way you guys can get in front of everybody and anybody that you are interested in doing so. So that's it though. That's all I had to share. If you can believe it. Good. I'm glad. I really, really appreciate you obviously being here with me today. I know it's a Friday afternoon, so those are like the hardest to kind of make work because it's like, oh my